I absolutely love the response that was in the room. It probably should have been a little bit more, but I'll give you a chance again here in just a moment to say thank you to the Lord for what God is doing at Calvary Triad Academy. It's amazing to see the families that are being reached by the generosity that you displayed probably almost 2 years ago now to invest in this ministry. Some of those parents are even in the room here today. And I just want to say to you, church family, thank you for pouring into families in this community. One more time, can you say thank you to the Lord for what he's doing at Calvary Triad Academy? It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So it's awesome. I tell you what, if you need a smile on your face, just come hang out with me anytime during the week, and I'll take you down. We'll do a little tour, and we'll see the kids running around, and it's just awesome to see what God's doing. Hey, those of you that are in Reedsville, bless you. We're so glad that you are there worshiping with Jesus, or with the people there, Jesus in the room, and boy, it's exciting to see what God is doing there. Pastor Scott and Carrie, we love you guys, and boy, we're just excited to hear the future is bright in Reedsville, so thank you for that. Proverbs 27:7 says this incredible thing. It's one of my verses that I lean into quite often. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person can improve another. I don't know who that is for you, but you should have those people in your life that you've given the right to knock off some of the rough edges of your blade, so to speak. Iron sharpens iron. There's a process that goes through when that is taking place in your life that makes you better, as Proverbs says in that verse. I have people in my life that do that, and you're going to hear from one of them today. Pastor Chris Sonksen is the founding pastor of a church. You'll hear more about what God has done through he and his family. He's also now leading a ministry called Church Boom that rescues churches all over the nation. It's kind of the picture of what has happened in Reedsville is what Pastor Chris is helping other churches to lean into, and that momentum. And so we are honored to be able to hear about that ministry. The front side of that is that Pastor Chris is also my coach. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, has a ministry to other leaders all over the nation as an executive coach. And several months ago, we've entered into that relationship. And already it's refreshing to know that you have an outside voice that can say, hey, here's some great things. Here's some things to work on. And we all need that. That is biblical. In fact, God says when he calls us to serve him, it's not in isolation. In fact, there's so many scriptures, bearing one another's burdens, helping each other. You should have those people in your life, and I'm honored to have my coach here with me today. He's also an incredible minister of the gospel, founder of Church Boom. Would you do me a favor, both here in Greensboro and Reedsville, and welcoming Pastor Chris to this platform here today.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Love you, man. Amen. Appreciate you. Well, good morning. Oh, come on, you're in church. You're in the best place to be all week long. Put a massive smile on your face and say good morning. Much better. Hey, it is so awesome to be able to be with you guys today. My name is Chris Sonksen, and I'm the founding pastor of South Hills. We have 12 locations. I don't do a lot of the day-to-day anymore. I lived most of my life in Southern California. I don't do the day-to-day. 5 years ago, I handed that over to one of our associates, and I decided to spend the rest of my life rescuing churches that are struggling. How many believe the local church is the hope of the world? We need the local church. And right now, this should cause you to just be blown away. Right now in America, we are closing 3 churches for every 1 that opens. Last year alone, America shut down 300 churches per Sunday. And we decided 5 years ago we're going to do something about that. My wife and I, we've got a massive team across America. We got amazing partners like yourself, and we are rescuing churches that got like 20, 30 people left in it, getting it back over 100. Just like you guys did in Reedsville, we're doing it with hundreds of churches across the nation. And I want to give honor where honor is due. I believe that. I do travel across this nation. I know a lot of people, a lot of pastors. And Pastor John and Kim, you have some amazing pastors. They love the Lord, they love you, they love this church. I want you to do me a favor. The biggest hand you've given this morning, would you make some serious noise and show some honor like the Bible says to do to our pastors, Pastor John and Kim? Come on. I love them, and they are friends and partners, and we're just going to keep on rescuing churches as long as we got breath in our lungs. And so, a little bit more about me. I have been married for last month, 35 years. Yeah. Oh, man. She's hot. And she's Mexican, so we don't really communicate, so she doesn't speak English, but that helps us get along. And we have 2 amazing children. And then this third one. No, I'm totally playing. Could you imagine? And we have 3 grandkids, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. How many grandparents do we have here? Come on, is it not the best thing on the planet? Way better than parenting. God's gift to you for not killing your own kid. I was holding my granddaughter recently, and my adult son says to me, "Dad, it's like you love her more." I said, "No, it's not like I do. I do. You had a good run. It's over for you." But hey, I want to minister to you for a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn the corner at the end and talk to you about how we are rewriting the script for America's churches and how you guys are such incredible partners in making that happen. If you have a Bible, go to Genesis. If you got a Bible, go to Genesis. If you don't have a Bible, next time you're at a hotel, get one. They're free. I sell them on eBay. It's a side hustle I do to raise money to rescue churches. I'm trying to make a difference, people. We're going to look at Genesis. We're going to be all over the place, but we'll start in the book of Genesis, and we'll go through a few different chapters in there as we look at that. But I want to introduce you to a friend of mine named Cam. Put it on the screen for me if we could. That's my buddy Cam. Everybody say Cam. All right, now Cam. That's my buddy Cam. Now, quite a while back, a few years back, I normally get a haircut in Southern California where my wife gets her haircut, but the lady that cuts my hair was gone. And so I had to go in to find a place, and I went into a barber shop. Now I'm talking like a men's cool, everybody in there is cool barber shop. And you've got like 15 chairs. You've got my buddy there. He's one of the barbers. I met him that day. You've got like African-American dudes that are cutting hair, white guys, Asian, Hispanic. You got everybody in there. The common thing they all have is they're all cool. I'm not cool. I know that, and I understand that. When they say hi to me, I go in there, and for whatever reason, they all like me. And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they always want to do my hair. I don't know what to do, if they want me to bunt or shake hands. But I go in there, and I meet this guy. He cuts my hair. Now, I like the way he cut my hair, and I thought, all right, I'm going to go back. So I went back again and again and again, and he became a friend, and we became friends. And I remember one time I went in and got a haircut, and I'm like, "Hey," sitting there, he's cut my hair. He goes, "Hey, man, when we're done with the haircut, I want to take you outside. I want to show you my brand new car." I'm like, "All right." So we get on a haircut. He takes me outside. It's a Dodge Challenger Demon. How many have ever seen one of those cars? It goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. My car does 0 to 60 about an hour and a half. His is way better. And so we get inside this car, and it is, first of all, we get in there, he turns the music on. It is blaring the music. It's like a reggae rap thing going on. He's got 19 speakers in the trunk. I'm not a 19 speaker guy. You don't need 19 speakers for a podcast. You just don't. And we're in there, and there's reggae rap music. It is so loud. He takes off, boom, I'm hanging on like this. Next thing I know, it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. He's doing 120. And we are flying down the road. The music's cranking. He's laughing because he sees me a nervous wreck, And all of a sudden, the light turns red, right? And he puts the brakes on. We're sitting there at the stoplight. He's cracking up. The music, I can't even hear myself think. I'm hanging on like this, but I'm starting to get into it a little bit, And I'm sitting, I want you to imagine at the stoplight. He's laughing, I'm like, whatever. All of a sudden, a car pulls up, husband and wife. I look over at them, and they're like, "Pastor Chris? Is that you?" And I'm like, "That's me." So we get done with that. He takes me back. We end up becoming friends. We start hanging out a little bit, and we go out to dinner, whatever. I'll never forget, we go out to dinner one night together. He has no idea what I do and who I am, as a pastor or whatever. And I just said, I just speak. Because I don't like telling people I'm a pastor right up front. I want to win people to Jesus, but I got to ease my way into the conversation, So we're there out to dinner, I'll never forget. And he begins to open up his life to me like crazy. He's like, "Man," he goes, "let me just tell you, I've been addicted to drugs all my life. And he goes, not only have I been addicted to drugs, when I was 13 years old, I was not only addicted to drugs, I was dealing drugs, and I was dealing drugs for my dad. I was riding my bicycle and dealing drugs. And I go, you're still doing drugs now? And he goes, oh, yeah. And he goes, I do drugs all the time, and I deal them. And I said, you do? And he goes, well, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a police officer. You're going to jail? No. So we started talking a little bit, and I just said, hey, man, I said, we started kind of hanging out a little bit, and we're there at dinner, and he tells me about his dad has been in and out of prison and dealing drugs and doing drugs. He has been doing drugs and dealing drugs all his life. He's been in prison more than his dad. He's been dealing drugs with more than his dad. And so I said, okay, Cam, I go, let me get this straight. I said, you're dealing drugs or your dad's dealing drugs and all that, a lot, right, and in and out of prison. You're dealing drugs and in and out of prison more than your dad. Is that correct? He said, yeah. And I said, you want to get married, and if you have a son, what do you think that son is going to do? And he said, he's probably going to be dealing with drugs. And I go, Cam, you got to understand, it's just going to keep on getting worse. Matter of fact, I drew up a little script, put it up there for me if you could. This is what I told him. I said, look, Cam, I said, you got a grandparent, you got a parent, and you got a child. And I said, I want you to notice, Cam, I said, notice the baton. Help me out, everybody in the house. The baton keeps getting what? Come on, say it with me. What is it? Darker. Come on, keeps getting what? Okay, the baton's getting darker. I go, see, Cam, I go, you start off with your dad. He deals drugs, and he's been in and out of prison. You've been dealing drugs and in and out of prison more than your dad. I go, I think your son's just going to end up doing the same thing if you're not careful. I taught Cam on that day 3 laws of the family script, and I want to teach those laws to you, okay? Here they are. Law number 1, if you're taking notes, here we go. Come on. The issue travels, and it typically gets darker. Everybody in the house, say it with me. The issue what? And it typically gets what? Okay, that's what I told Cam. I said, Cam, I go, the issue's traveling, and it's just going to keep getting darker. You've been in prison more than your dad. You're dealing more drugs than your dad ever did. And I said, and now it's just, and what's going to keep happening in your life, Cam? Now, here's the thing. Some of us in here are probably thinking, okay, that's good for Cam, but I don't deal drugs and I don't do drugs. But how many would agree with me by a show of hands? How many would agree with me? Maybe our issue isn't drugs, but we all got stuff in our life. We all got junk in our life, don't we? Okay, we all got stuff that either we got, now stay with me, we got from our parents or we're passing on to our children. Maybe we got it from our parents, maybe we're just passing on something. We all got stuff. Here's some examples of maybe something that you have in your life. Put it on the screen for me. Fear. Maybe that's a thing that you got from your parents and you're passing on. Maybe it's lying. Maybe it's a fear of avoiding conflict. Maybe it's a fear of commitment, laziness, suppressing emotions. Maybe it's a bad attitude. Maybe it's greed, quick temper, or cheating. Maybe you have a hard time forgiving, insecurity, unhealthy mindset, or envy. Or maybe you're negative, or maybe you're critical, or maybe you're judgmental. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's not drugs like Cam, but it's something. Now here's what I want to do. I want you to lock in on that one thing right now in your life that isn't good. That one thing that is bad that you're like, man, maybe you got it from your parent or maybe you're passing it on. And I want you to keep that in foundationally in your mind because that's the thing we need to attack because we understand something. If we don't deal with it, the issue will travel, help me out one more time, and it typically gets what? It'll keep on getting darker. Now, I want to introduce to you 3 guys in the Bible. They're always mentioned together. Okay, these 3 guys are always mentioned together. Okay, they are, help me say it out. Abraham, who's the next one? Always mentioned together. And, okay, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. 3 generations. Grandpa, dad, son. 3 generations. Okay, they are heroes of the Bible. They are people who love the guy. They're the father of nations. They're the heroes. They do miracles. They do all this great stuff. But here's what you probably don't realize. They had a secret sin in that family that I bet most of us have never picked up on. Even if you've read Genesis, you probably never picked up on it. That there is this secret problem that's traveling through their family. And it's traveling through and it's getting darker every time. So I want to take a look at the first guy. Let's figure out what the secret is and how it travels. And how it travels through their family. If you're not careful, it'll travel through yours. Okay, this is the first guy. Let's look at the first guy's name, Abraham. Everybody say Abraham with me. What's the first guy? Come on. Okay, Abraham. Now, here's the thing. Abraham's the father of all nations. He's the miracle worker. He's the only one of all three that got a song about him. You know the song. Come on, Father Abraham. All right, some of you can't sing. You're out of tune there. The rocks are crying out in the parking lot. Now, Abraham, big-time guy, miracle worker, whatever, does all these great things for God, and hero, and father of nations, and all that. But here's the deal. Let's look in Genesis 12. If you're taking notes, 11 through 13, it'll come up on the screen. As he was approaching the border of Egypt, Abram, later Abraham, said to his wife Sarai, later Sarah, "Look, you are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife. Let's kill him, then we can have her.' So please tell them, lie to them, that you are my sister." We'll come back to that in a minute. "Then they will spare my life and treat me well because of their interest in you." Here's Abraham. Abraham tells his wife in Genesis 12, "Look, we need to lie." Now, you might be thinking it's no big deal. It's a white lie. You're lying to protect your wife and yourself. It's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. He never had to lie before. Why did he feel like the need to lie now? Why did he have to lie there? He did. He felt like he needed to do it. He was afraid. God never let him down, but this time he lied. Now, here's the thing. You're thinking, okay, it's a little lie. But then we roll 8 chapters later in Genesis 20, he lies again. So now he lies not once, help me out, but he lies what? Twice. And you know what? On the second time, he made an excuse, which tells you when you make an excuse, you know you're wrong. You're just trying to excuse yourself. But he lied, and then he lied again. This is a big deal. Now, what you got to understand is Abraham's about to have a son named Isaac. And Abraham is going to learn the law of the family script number 2. And that is this: what doesn't get repaired gets repeated. Listen to me. Listen, this is important. Your fear, your lying, your critical, your judgmental, bad attitude, your inability to say I love you, your suppressing emotions, the hard time to forgive, your addiction, whatever it is. Understand something. Abraham's learning the law of the family script number 2, that what doesn't get repaired, help me out, gets what? Gets repeated. And it's going to happen in Isaac's life. So let's take a look at Isaac. Love God, great guy, all this stuff. But look at Genesis 26, verse 7. When the men who lived there asked Isaac about his wife Rebekah, he said, "She is my" what? Who else said that same exact line? Abraham, his dad. "She is my sister." He was afraid to say she's my wife. He thought they will kill me to get to her because she is so beautiful. Did you ever catch that before? Abraham lied about his wife being he lied. And then Isaac repeats the same exact lie. But you know what's interesting? When Abraham lied over here, it was 25 years before Isaac was ever born. And nowhere in the Bible does it say they ever talked about Abraham's lie. And then he's born 25 years later after Abraham's lie, and a total of 80 years later, Isaac lies. So watch this. Abraham lies and says, that she's my sister, that's not my wife. He lies. 80 years later, Isaac does the same exact thing. How is that even possible? How, when they didn't even talk about it? What are the odds that when they first show up lying, Abraham and Isaac, it would be exactly the same? The exact same lie. She is my sister. It's a lie. Why is that? Here it is. Put it on the screen for me, because children learn patterns before they learn words. They learn the pattern before they learn the words. And that's what was happening. Abraham lies. 80 years later, Isaac lies too. And he lies about the same exact thing, because children learn patterns before they learn words. A few years back, my son came home from college. He was going to be home that late afternoon. We were excited to see him, my wife and I. I headed out for the morning for a bunch of appointments, and I was excited to go see my son about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But a couple hours before that, I got hungry, and I'm like, okay, I got to have lunch. I hadn't had lunch yet. and I walk into Chipotle. How many have ever been to a Chipotle before? Okay, Chipotle, I love them. They never give enough meat, but I love them. And I walk in, and the line is way back here. Now, if you know anything about Chipotle, you basically, when the line starts, you're gonna say burrito or a bowl or a taco, and you kind of tell them what you want, and they make it for you kind of there, and then you pay for it over here. Now, I come walking in, the line is way back here. Another problem is at Chipotle, when they run out of like chicken, the whole line has to stop until they bring more chicken. And they kept running out of stuff, and it took forever. I'm standing in line. I finally make my way up here. I'm like, okay, here's what I want. And they start making my meal for me, whatever. And we start going down. Then they stop again because something ran out. Now we're just standing there forever, it feels like. And I'm standing there waiting. Now a lady next to me is in her late 30s probably. Beautiful lady. And I'm standing there, and she looks over at me while we're waiting, and she goes, it's taking forever, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it is. And we start up a conversation. And she starts being nice to me. And she starts even being more nice and even more nice. And I'm thinking in my mind, she's flirting with me. Now, you need to understand why this is such a big deal. No one flirts with me. All of you that just laughed, you just hurt my feelings. Literally, no one ever. I know what I am, and I know what I'm not. Good looking, I am not. I'm not Pastor John. Look at him. He's a specimen. He's the Kevin Costner of Calvary. You look at him, and it's like Pastor Yellowstone, and that's what he is. I don't have that. I get it. I'm okay with it. Standing in line, I think she's being really, really nice. We're moving along the line finally again. I grab my phone. This is how blown away I am. I think she's flirting with me. I grab my phone, and I text my wife. You'll never believe it. There's a lady in line flirting with me. My wife texts back, no way. Literally impossible, exclamation point. A lot of encouragement there on that day. We finally get to the place where you pay for the food. You got your little whatever, they're gonna pay for it. The lady behind the counter looks to me and this lady and says, are you two together? She was asking, are you two paying together? Which obviously we weren't, but she was asking, are you two paying together? The lady over here, the one I thought was flirting with me, she took it as, are you two together? So she says, are you two together? And the lady next to me goes, him? Oh, no, never. About me. I text my wife, never mind. False alarm, back to normal. Now, I go home. A couple hours later, I walk in to my son's room. There he is. He's unpacking some clothes. I give him a big hug. As I'm hugging him, I look over, and there's a hole in the wall. I said, hey, son. I go, what's the hole in the wall for? I go, wasn't there this morning. He goes, oh, I was putting something up. I really got mad, so I got angry, and I just punched it. I go, you come home from college, and you punch a hole in my wall. So I go over to see my wife in a different room. I'm like, did you see what our son did over there? I go, he punched a hole in the wall. I said, that kid is so impatient. And my wife looks at me and she goes, and where did he learn that from? I said, you got issues. No, it's me. I am insanely impatient, and I've never repaired it. And what doesn't get repaired gets repeated. My son is even worse than me. My dad, where it all came from, he passed away a couple of years ago. He passed away. He is the king of impatient. On his deathbed, he's like, this is taking too long. He's crazy impatient. He's impatient. I'm impatient. My son's impatient. The issue's traveling, and it's getting, one more time, you may remember, darker. And what doesn't get repaired is getting repeated. It's in everything in our life, you guys. It's in everything. The issue travels, it gets darker, and what doesn't get repaired gets repeated. And it happened for Isaac. But Isaac's about to have a son. Here comes the third one, remember? Abraham, Isaac, he's about to have a son named Jacob. And he's about to learn the law of the script number 3. Here it is. Put it up on the screen for me. If you don't deal with it now, they'll deal with it next. Whatever your thing is. Remember at the very beginning we talked about everybody focusing on your thing. Whatever your thing is, whatever that is for you, if you don't deal with it now, they're going to deal with it next. Now watch this. Abraham lied. Now we get to Jacob. We're going to talk about Jacob. Okay, Abraham lies. Not once, but how many times? Not once, but what? Makes an excuse. Watch this. Isaac lies and doesn't even make an excuse. It's almost like, that's just part of our family. It's what we do. And then Jacob comes along. Third one down in the generation. Jacob comes along. And you know what the word Jacob actually means? Deceiver. Now, maybe you don't find the humor in things. Maybe I'm the only one laughing at it. I think it's hilarious that their parents, his parents, named them Deceiver. Could you imagine doing that to your kid? Imagine right now, you're pregnant, your family's pregnant, you have a baby, a couple weeks later you come back, Pastor John and Kim are like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful little boy. What is his name? And you're like, oh, Deceiver, Manipulative Johnson. Could you imagine? 7 pounds of 2 ounces of pure deceit. Like, that's a weird thing to do. But they named him Deceiver for whatever reason, and he was. If you're taking notes, Genesis 25, he lies to his brother to get ahead financially. Genesis 27, he lies to his dad to get ahead financially. Do you see what's happening here? Abraham lied to get out of trouble. Isaac lied, didn't even feel bad about it, to get out of trouble. Jacob lies to get ahead financially. Put it on the screen for me. For Jacob, lying moves from being a symptom to being a strategy. It's not a symptom anymore in the family. Now it's a strategy. Oh, I can get ahead financially if I get this lying thing down that our family does for the last 150 years. I can get ahead financially. There's hope, though. No matter what your thing is, there's hope. We all have something that either we got from our parents or we've passed down. And you might be thinking, I'm 80 years old, I'm 70 years old, it's too late. No, it's never too late to do the right thing. Never too late. We're passing it down. Every one of us have something that needs to end in our family tree. Every one of us have something that the generational cycle today in July of 2026 has got to stop. Every one of us have something. Please understand something is that the past may describe you, but it doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to define who you are. My wife and I recently, we were going through a box of a bunch of stuff in it. And one of the things we came across was one of the presents I got her. Now, if you know anything about me, I love unique presents. I don't like buying like, Merry Christmas, here's some perfume. That's not me. I like being very unique. And we were looking at this gift I gave her a few years back. Let me take you a few years back. It's 3 weeks before Christmas. My wife and I are driving down the road. I'm driving. My wife says to me, 3 weeks before Christmas, she goes, and she does this every year. She looks at me and she goes, have you gotten my Christmas gift yet? And I look at her and I'm like, yeah, I did. She goes, it's 3 weeks before Christmas and you already have my gift? And I looked at her and I said, I actually bought the gift December 26th of last year. She goes, you bought my gift December 26th of last year? I said, yeah, that's when things are on sale. You gotta move. So I said, yeah, I bought it December 26th of last year. And she goes, wow, okay, wow, that's amazing. Then, of course, in her normal fashion, she goes, and how much did you pay for it? She always does that. And I looked, and I told her, I never tell her, but this year I did. I go, how much did I pay for the gift? She goes, yeah. I go, $7. She goes, you bought me a gift December 26th of last year, and you paid $7? I said, yeah. And she goes, what is it? I said, I'm not going to tell you. Christmas rolls around, everybody's opening the gifts, family's all there. I give her my gift. She opens it up. It is 2 journals from Walgreens. It was a buy one, get one. So I paid $7. 2 journals. I started on December 26th of last year, and I finished on Christmas morning that morning. Every day I wrote a full page. And the name of the journals was 365 Reasons Why I Love You. Now, let me tell you what's happening in the room right now. The women are all going, and the men are going, jerk. Because that sweater you got her for Christmas doesn't look so hot now, does it? So we keep going through the box of that stuff I told you about. Came across that gift, and we came across a picture of me and Eddie. I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I became a Christian around 15 years old. I've been a Christian now for about 3 or 4 months at that time, and I just went to a youth group, got saved, started going to the church. I would go on Sunday, ride my bike, whatever, and I'd go to church. And Eddie became my buddy. We were both 15 years old. Eddie Ayabareno. And here's the one thing I noticed, though, with Eddie in that first few months. Every time he said goodbye to his mom, whether she was dropping him off at church or youth group or whatever, she would always say, Mrs. Abareno would say to my buddy Eddie, again, he grew up in church. I'd only been going to church for a few months. She would say to him, Mrs. Abareno would say, I love you, Eddie. And Eddie would say, love you too, Mom. And then, they go their way. One time, I don't know, again, I've been going to the church for a few months. I'm standing in a lobby like this on a Sunday morning. I'm by myself, and Eddie's right there, and Mrs. Abareno's right there. Church is about to start. Eddie goes, I got to go to the bathroom. He heads to the bathroom. Now I'm standing there with his mom, Mrs. Abareno. And she's standing there. I said, Mrs. Abareno, can I ask you a question? And she said, sure, Chris, go ahead. I said, every time you say goodbye to Eddie, you say, I love you. Why do you do that? And she understood. This is foreign to him. She ended up asking me, she goes, has your dad ever? Started asking questions. She said, has your dad ever said it? I said, my dad's never said that to me. I've never heard that before. Now, we fixed it later on in life before he passed away, but I never heard that before. You know what she told me? She goes, I bet your grandpa, his dad, never told him. I found out later that to be true. And so basically it was what she told me. Look, your grandpa never said, I love you, never expressed emotions. Your dad has never said, I love you, and expressed emotion. Chris, if you don't break the generational cycle, or if you don't rewrite the script, you're just going to carry it on to generation to generation. And I remember her telling me, you're 15, I hope you get what I'm telling you. Chris, you got to rewrite the script for your family. And I remember keeping that locked in my mind. I'll never forget where I was standing. I could take you right to that spot right today. And all I remember is I hung on to that. And when I got married, I've told my wife every day, I love you. When my kids were born, I told them every day that I love them. My daughter has 3 little kids. She smothers them with love. Was a dumb little 15-year-old punk, but I remember it was my responsibility to rewrite the script, and I rewrote it for our family. And you can do the same thing today. You can rewrite the script for your family. Whatever that thing is, it's got to stop. And you got to say no more in the family. Attitude, critical, judgmental, envy, greed, whatever it is for you, it's got to stop, or they're going to pick it up. Children learn patterns before they learn words, and your kids will pick it up. And at some point, you've got to stop it. Let's go back quickly to the story of Jacob. In Genesis 32, we pick up a story. He's wrestling with an angel. The scripture, it says man. Most theologians believe, for multiple reasons we don't have time for, that it's an angel. So let's read it from that context. This left Jacob, the third in the generation, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man, an angel, came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out with a socket. Then the man, that angel, said to him, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Verse 27, keep it on the screen for me for a second. What does the angel ask him? What is your... Come on, help me out. It's right on the screen. What is your what? Now, I can't prove this theologically, so I guess we could argue it. I'm just going to guess. I'm thinking if it's an angel, the angel already knows his name. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. So just think with me. If the angel knew his name, then why did he say, what's your name? He knows the name. This is just my opinion. Take it whatever it's worth. What did Jacob's name actually mean? Here's my thought. I think the angel was saying, Jacob, who are you? Who are you at the core? What's your name? I think the angel was saying, I need you to admit to me that you're a deceiver. Because until you own the issue in your life, you are never going to change, Jacob. You've got to own it. I need you to hear, what is your name? My name is Jacob. You see, because Jacob, deceiver, he could have said this, right? He could, hey, my fault that I'm a deceiver. It's my dad's fault, Isaac. I mean, that guy lies. And let me tell you where my dad Isaac got it from. He got it from my grandpa, Abraham. He lied. It ain't my fault. But here's the reality. Those that play the victim rarely get the victory. At some point, you just got to say, I got to own it. It ain't my dad's fault, ain't my mom's fault, ain't my upbringing. Today, I have to own it. And that's what he wanted from Jacob. And it goes on to say, verse 28, what is your name, the man says. He replied, Jacob. He admitted, I'm a deceiver. Your name will no longer be Jacob. The man told him, from now on, you'll be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with man and won. Jacob meant deceiver. Israel meant God rules in your life. Isn't that interesting? Here's what he says. You're no longer a deceiver. Your name is Israel, meaning God rules in your life. And if you follow Jacob's life and you follow his sons and his sons' sons, you'll notice that all of a sudden the trajectory of the family began to change. Because, you know why? Someone drew a line in the sand and said, we're not going to be that anymore in this family. And he said, enough is enough. Now, I did it at 15 years old. 15 years old. Okay, I don't know what I was doing as a punk, but I remember thinking, I don't want to be that kind of person anymore. I don't want my family to be that. And we changed it. Jacob, you know how old he was? He was 60 years old when he finally did this. 60 years old when he finally said, we're not going to be a family of liars anymore. Let me go back to my buddy Cam. If you could put it on the screen for just a second. Remember Cam. Cam is my buddy that cuts my hair. Could we put it back up there real quick if we could, Cam? And let me tell you what happened with Cam after I got my hair cut with him, is that I kept getting my hair cut with this guy, whatever, and we became friends, and eventually Cam, who was doing drugs and all that, I gave him a Bible. He gave his life to Jesus, started following the Lord. Just recently, we celebrated his 5th year off of drugs. It was so fun, Pastor. I didn't say this in the first service, but when he had his 5 years, he told me it was coming up. And I put it in my calendar, and I knew I'd be in town. And I walked into the barber shop. Everybody said, hey, Chris, all these guys are all cool looking. And Cam goes, we don't have a haircut today. I had a cake in my hand. I said, but it's your 5 years off of drugs, and we need to celebrate. And all the barbers, we all had a piece of cake. He started to get a little misty. He walked me out, started crying. He goes, no one's ever done that for me. It wasn't anything, but it was something to him. And I gotta tell you what else happened. He didn't even graduate high school. I don't know how he pulled this off, but he didn't even graduate high school. But he's graduating this year from a university with a bachelor's. That's what Cam is doing. Now, let me wind it down real quick. Jacob is 60, and he says, we're not going to be a family of liars anymore. Cam was 30 and said, we're not going to be a family of abuse and addictions anymore. Chris was 15. We're not going to be a family that can't express our emotions. At some point, you got 60, 15, whatever, 30, or somewhere in between, or somewhere older or younger. You're never too old. You're never too late to start doing the right thing. Rewrite the script today for you and your family. Change the future. You can do that no matter what it is. We can fix that. Now, what I got to rewrite, what Pastor Phil has to rewrite, what Pastor John, Kim, you. Mine's different than yours. I got my issues, you got your issues, we all got issues. Everybody got issues. But there is a script that we all share, and that is the script of the local church. We got to rewrite the script in our own life, but all of us are responsible to rewrite the script in the local church. Let me show you quickly. We're going to wind it down. Here it is, real quick. Here's the script of the local church. Put it on the screen for me. Churches in America closing at a record pace. Look at these headlines. Top left. 15,000 churches could close this year amid religious shift in the U.S. Look at the top right from Newsweek. U.S. decline in religion. Look at this. Among the biggest in the world. Did you catch that? There's 190 countries. And Newsweek is saying, of all 190 countries, we're losing faith and religion faster than any other country. It's horrible. Bottom left, churches fight to stay open as attendance dwindles. Look at USA Today, bottom right. Churches are closing faster than new ones are opening in the U.S. Hey, I don't know about you, but that didn't happen on my great-grandfather's watch. That's happening on our watch. And how many would agree with me with a little bit of excitement? Those headlines, we got to rewrite the script. Come on, we got to say enough is enough, and we got to rewrite that script. Long story short, 5 years ago, got together with some friends, and I said, look, I'm going to step away from the church as a lead pastor. I'll still be involved, but we're going to start rewriting the script for America's churches. I got 15 pastors together. We had this idea, what if we start coaching them for free? We'll pay the coach, but we'll coach the pastor, that church of 20 or 30. We're going to bring them back to life and get them over 100, just like you guys did in Reedsville, right? Reedsville. What if we did that with hundreds of churches? And what if we send them on a retreat for 4 days that they don't have to pay for, but we'll pay for it? And we just thought, we're going to raise money from churches and business leaders, and we're going to start helping these struggling churches come back to life, because America's got to have churches. We started with just a handful, and then they graduate, and then we go to the next group, and they graduate. Last month, we had the largest enrollment ever. 539 churches right now are being rescued somewhere in America. It only happens because of people like you. It only happens because of churches like you. I want to say thank you for coming to the rescue. Thank you for fighting for America's churches. Thank you for what you're doing. It means so much. It takes $5,000 to rescue a church. And let me tell you this, you don't give to us, you give through us. We don't take a dime, not a dime. Everything goes to rescue more churches. I want to thank Pastor and his beautiful wife, and I want to thank this church for coming to the rescue. I want to show you a video of a church. We've rescued now into the thousands, but I'm going to show you a video of a church in Vermont, the least religious state of all 50 states. This is a video about a church that got down to 28 people. They're about to close their doors. We brought them in, and they began to grow. I was just there a few weeks ago. They're now running 500 people. People are finding Jesus. This is living proof, one of many, many, many churches we rescued. Living proof that rescued churches rescue people. And this video will show you that rescued churches rescue America. Thank you, Calvary, for coming to the rescue. Check out the video, and then your pastor will come.
I called the representative of this church, and I just said, hey, listen, what's the vision there? And the response was this: man, we've been without vision for a long time. We're looking for someone to come in and essentially breathe life to this community. I mean, I think it was 3 days later, I was headed here. We walked in, we noticed like some friendly people, but just a few people. In fact, our first Sunday pastoring this church, there were 33 people. We did such an incredible job that first Sunday. The next Sunday, there were 28 people. And we knew that we had an uphill climb, but we absolutely knew that God had his hand on this place. We had a vision. We had just an incredible desire to see God do something huge. But there's a big difference between having a vision and having all these ideas and implementation. And that's something that Church Boom does an incredible job in coaching, is the implementation of the strategies and ideas and things and making them come to life and fruition.
God calls us to grow, and God doesn't just call us to comfort. And so moving here, it was definitely not a comfortable choice, but it was a choice of faith in growth. And sometimes with growth comes pain and challenge, but when God gives you the call, all of it is worth it.
We had got pregnant in September of 2022. So we were expecting a baby boy in 2023. He was diagnosed with a disease called CDH. He had two tiny little lungs. So so he didn't make it. Yeah, he didn't make it. The support that we had was huge, because to be honest with you, going through that without the people that we have and without our pastors, I don't know how we would have handled that.
It was nice to know that we could heal privately while being prayed for corporately at the same time. Like we were given space to grieve together, but also we had so many community members and church family members that were grieving alongside with us and just taking really good care of us. And we've since welcomed 2 little girls, and they're very wonderful.
So one day, at the end of my rope, depression is at its worst, anxiety is at its worst, and all I'm thinking about is ending my life. So I'm driving around, and I work down the road, so I drove right past the church, and I thought to myself, maybe I should reach out to Vince. Something something in my heart told me to reach out to Vinny, because I was going home, I was gonna get my gun. And I was gonna end it because I couldn't deal with it no more. The depression, the anxiety, it was so much that I couldn't take it. And so I messaged Pastor Vinny, and he replied, and he said, come down and see me. If it wasn't for him meeting you in this church, becoming what it is, then I wouldn't be here today.
I believe the Lord is continuing to use all the things we've learned from Church Boom and our continued partnership to really make a mark on Rutland, Vermont, and the entire state of Vermont. Both campuses, all campuses combined, including kids, we're a 500-person church. It's been an incredible journey so far, and it's just beginning.